Alright, good morning everybody. It's Malcolm here. We're going to go do some testing on this beautiful day. One of the things I want to try today is to put a sonar into the plane and try to see whether or not an inside hull mounting will actually work through an aluminum hull here on these whip line floats. So I have the Garmin 63V ultra high def marine sonar. I've got the transducer. I also have this duct seal, which I found a lot of people said that worked really well to mount the transducer on the inside of a surface. So, and then I also have this extra spare battery to power the whole thing, so I can keep the electronics isolated from the plane, and I can quickly unplug it if needed. So I want to. I'm not going to turn it on until I get into the water, and then if for whatever reason I find some kind of interference, I'm going to then just unplug it quickly. So this is my plan, and I'm going to put it on the left side float, and I'm going to go inside here. I have a special little shelf that I made using some PVC lattice, and then I also with a little bit of cedar there, so I'm going to pull that out actually so that I can put the transducer right there on the bottom of the float. So that's what my project is for today. Alright, here we go. We're going to pull out the lattice. We count our screws so that we know we have the same amount that we took out. So we have 6 total. We're going to keep them right here. That way I will make sure that none fall on the ground. Last thing you want to be is responsible for popping somebody else's tire. Some nasty FOD. One of the reasons why I have that lattice in there is so that you don't have to reach all the way down. The floats, when you're coming into a dock, I usually have inside of here, I have the dock bumpers, and when you're coming into a dock, to actually have to reach all the way to the bottom can be a little difficult and can kind of throw you off balance. So since the floats the float compartments are only rated at 50 pounds each, I've never found it to be a limitation about how much I can put in by having the extra shelf in there, and it gives me the ability to not have to reach down another foot or so to get that stuff out of there. All right, remove the lattice. Moving the boards out of the way, and now finding a home for the transducer. Just going to bring it in to a tight fit. Fits right between the spars. All the stuff that I sort of read about mounting these, typically on kayaks, so use this duct seal. And so, I'm going to try that, and we'll see how this goes. Roughly half a bar of that, half pound. Bars coming a 1 pound configuration. This is the transducer, so I want to get this to be about the same size there. So just pull it out, extend it out, flatten it out. There we go. And then I guess the trick here is to make sure there are no air bubbles when you flatten this in. So, and then you bring it up around. So I think I have a pretty good surface. I'm now going to surround it a little bit more. And I did not anticipate how sticky that stuff was going to be, but show you what I did here. So you can see the duct seal is all around the transducer and up to the sides wherever the shiny part was. I think I've gotten as much air out as I possibly can around it, and we'll just have to kind of see how it works. So for the control head, I think I'm going to remove my typical iPad mount here. I'm going to repurpose that. I've added a RAM mount ball to the back of the standard Garmin mounting panel. Could just put it right here with my standard mount point for the iPad. One of the things I love about the seaplane braces is it gives you a fantastic place to put your iPad. Very easy to see, also very easy to get out of the way if for whatever reason you need to look over there. And this is my favorite mounting place, especially when you get a couple people in here. It gets a little difficult. So I think for this one, we're going to put up a little bit like this. It's nice and snug. Now we're going to run the wiring. All right, I am starting to working on the wiring. I think what I'm going to try to do is come out of the float right here in the corner where there's a little slight indent in the metal where I think the cord will actually be okay. I'm going to come up the float rigging over to inside the door there, and then behind the seats, so along the seat rail, behind the seats, back up the other side, and then I can come over there so it won't be going along the floor at my feet or anything like that. So here we go. So this particular model also comes with this 20-foot, the transducer comes with a 20-foot cord, which is going to be perfect. Nice and extra long. I'm just going to run, I think I'm actually going to change my idea, and I'm going to run it along this one that goes up, and then I just go right in the back. That way I'm not I'm minimizing how much I'm running, and then I'm just going to use zip ties to secure it to the plane. I just did a test close of the door, that works fine, and now I'm just going to check in here one last time. As you can see, it's going right along the edge there and going straight down into the float, so it's not getting in the way of anything else. Alright, show you what I've done so far. So, have it coming out the side here, just zipped up. It's going behind the support. There's a zip tie. There's kind of an intermediate zip tie. And then here's one last one, and then up into the cockpit, where I'll be running it behind the seats and then up into where the control head will go. Alright, I'm back in the plane, bringing the that wire that we just ran outside around. Plenty of it. I love this 20-foot cord that Garmin has provided. I'm going to bring it just along the side here, up over the bar, and then I'll come down. Likewise, I want to have that come down. These go into the back of this pretty simply, and then there's a locking mechanism that will hold pull the wires in. So that guy's in, and now we just put the locking mechanism in. All right, well, they don't make that easy, but that's actually good. I'm glad it's nice and snug. Got both of these in, and now I'm gonna just run the cords behind. Tighten this guy up. And I'm confirming that I can still see everything in my panel just fine. I do have reduced visibility behind the unit, but I can easily move my head on both sides, and then if for whatever reason I wasn't feeling good about it, I can just quickly undo this, bring the whole thing down. So I think I'm actually going to fly with this out of the way at first, and then maybe down, maybe a little lower actually. I like this a lot. I guess the only thing I can't see is my engine monitor, and I will directly, but I can look around that and see it if I just kind of bring my head a little forward here. So this actually might be a better mounting position. So with that, I now have my power cord, which I'm also going to run over the bar. Kind of keeps it from just falling straight down. And this is designed to hardwire into your system. They also have a cigarette lighter adapter. I just used an adapter for my power bank. These are data cables, so if you wanted to share the data that's coming out of the unit, you can. And there's a whole protocol and such online about that, so I'm curious to see if this works. I'd like to explore that a little more. So now that I have my cables over the unit, I'm just gonna bring them down, up and around, and out of the way here, over here, and anchor them on the door handle of the passenger side. I now have a pretty clean cable run there. It's out of the way of my controls and my visibility, and actually now that I've scooted the chair up, I can see my engine monitor even behind this. So this is how I'm going to try this thing.